Hello everyone, thank you for joining me again and welcome to any new viewers. This is To The Point English with Ben. I'm Ben, and in this video you will learn 10 very useful and common English fossil words. Now I've been looking forward to making this video for quite some time now because I love fossil words. I find them fascinating. But you may be asking, what is a fossil word? Well, like fossils, which are remains or impressions of plants and animals which have long since died and disappeared, fossil words are words that are basically obsolete in modern English, so they don't exist except in idiomatic expressions. So these words would have completely disappeared if they weren't used in these idiomatic expressions. And there are lots of fossil words in modern English, but I've chosen what I believe to be the 10 most useful and common ones. So, without any further ado, let's get straight to number one. And number one is indeed ado, which you just heard me use in the expression without any further ado. Now this is a very good example to start with because you've probably heard it before, especially if you watch lots of YouTube videos, because YouTubers often, after they give a short introduction, before they get to the main point of the video, they say without any further ado, as I just did. It is also used a lot in presentations or speeches. Again, after the short introduction, when people say without any further ado, let's begin. Or in concerts or shows, when the presenter finally introduces the main act. Now, ado itself, the word, as I said, it's a fossil word, so it doesn't exist in English except in this expression, without any further ado. But originally, ado meant fuss, commotion, or activity. So without any further ado means without any more fuss or commotion or activity. So as I said, it's getting to the main point of, in this case, the video. Let's move on to number two now. Shebang. No, it's not the Ricky Martin song Shebangs, it's shebang. And this basically means everything. And as I said, again, it's a fossil word. It doesn't exist in modern English except in a fixed expression, which in this case is the whole shebang. So when we talk about the whole shebang, it's everything. So it's usually to emphasize that in the context you're using, that it's everything. It's not just one or two objects or things in general, it's everything. So as always, it will become clearer with an example. At my friend's wedding, there was a huge meal, live music and a DJ, the whole shebang. What I'm emphasizing here is that at the wedding, it wasn't a simple wedding, a basic wedding. My friend had everything. A huge meal, live music, a DJ, the whole shebang. And number three is baited. Baited. Again, it's not used in modern English except in the expression, in this case, bated breath. Bated breath. Because baited, the original meaning of baited is restrained. So when something is baited, it's restrained. So if you're thinking about restraining your breath, it's holding your breath so you don't breathe. So bated breath is used in situations where you're often anxious or nervous or you're waiting for something. It's often used with the verb to wait. So again, let's look at an example. Jose waited with bated breath for the exam results to be released. So Jose waited with bated breath for the exam results to be released. So he was very nervous, very anxious. So he was holding his breath. So he waited with bated breath. So it's really emphasizing that he was nervous and anxious. Okay, the next one, fettle. Fettle. So fettle is used in the expression to be in fine fettle. It's always to be used in fine fettle. Again, it's not used in other situations in English, only in this idiomatic expression. And fettle basically means a state of health. So fine fettle means to be in a good state of health. So the example is, my parents are in their 70s now, but they're both in fine fettle, thankfully. So my parents are in their 70s now, but they're both in fine fettle, thankfully. So my parents are both healthy. They're in a good state of health. Okay, number five now. Amok. So amok is the fossil word in this case, and it's used with the verb to run. So to run amok, quite a common expression. And it means in an uncontrolled manner. So when something is done or something happens in an uncontrolled manner. And the example It really annoys me when parents let their children run amok in restaurants. It really annoys me when parents let their children run amok in restaurants. So you can imagine in a formal restaurant, everybody's eating and you have some children just running around in a uncontrolled manner, running amok. They don't have to be literally running, I don't want to confuse you, it's just doing something in an uncontrolled manner. And number 6 now, the fossil word is Beck, and it's used in the expression beck and call. Beck and call. Beck and call. Now Beck is a shortened version of another verb which exists, which is to beckon. And to beckon is to signal for someone to come, usually with a gesture, or to summon someone. So you want someone to come to you. Quite in a formal situation, usually someone of authority beckons someone to come. But when we say that someone is at someone's beck and call, it's used in a negative way. And it means to be ready to do something for someone at any moment they want, basically. So the example is that the CEO expects his assistant to be at his beck and call, even at weekends. So the CEO expects his assistant to be at his beck and call, even at weekends. So the idea is that the CEO wants his assistant to be ready to help him to answer calls at any time, even at weekends. So again, it's disapproving, it's kind of negative. Okay, so number 7 now. Offing. The fossil word is offing, and it's used in the fixed expression to be in the offing. And that means likely to happen soon. When something is likely to happen soon, we say that it is in the offing. So the example sentence is, a change of government is in the offing due to recent scandals. So a change of government is in the offing due to recent scandals. So this change of government is going to happen soon, or will probably happen soon, because of the recent scandals. So that's the cause. So it's in the offing. So that's quite a formal example, but we also use in the offing in informal situations, colloquial, day-to-day situations too. Okay, number 8 now. Now this one is a little bit strange because it looks like another word, but it's pronounced like a different one. Let me explain. The word is desserts. Desserts. And the expression which is always used in is just desserts. Just desserts. Now it may be confusing because you may know the word desert, which is spelt the same, and you may also know the word dessert, which is pronounced the same but spelled differently. So a desert is an area of very dry land, dry arid land where nothing grows, and a dessert is what you have at the end of a meal, the sweet food at the end of a meal. So it's quite confusing that this word dessert, people often confuse the word and think that it should be spelt with double S, but it's not. It's with only one S and pronounced desserts. But what does it mean? Well, the origin of dessert is actually from Old French, an Old French word which means deserve. And that tells you what this expression means, just desserts, because it refers to your deserved reward or punishment. Depending on the context, it could be something good that you deserve or something bad which also you deserve. In my example, it's a punishment. The cyclist got his just desserts for cheating when he was banned from competing for life. So the cyclist got his just desserts for cheating when he was banned from competing for life. So he cheated, which is something very bad, but he got what he deserved, which was being banned for life, so he couldn't compete again. So that was his just desserts. He got what he deserved, he got his just desserts. Okay, number 9 now. So the fossil word is umbrage, umbrage, and it's used in the expression to take umbrage. Now, umbrage actually comes from an old French word again, ombrage or something like that, which means shadow or shade. But I don't want that to confuse you because umbrage, or to take umbrage, has quite a different meaning. The modern meaning of take umbrage is to feel offended or upset by something that someone has done or said. Okay, so again, I think the best way to understand it is with an example. I take umbrage at your suggestion that my examples are boring. Okay, so maybe you think my examples are boring and I take umbrage at that. I'm offended or upset at that. I take umbrage. Okay, the last one now, number 10. Loggerheads. That's the fossil word, but the expression is to be at loggerheads. To be at loggerheads. And that means to strongly disagree. So it's when two people or more strongly disagree with each other. So two or more people strongly disagree with each other. And the example is, environmentalists are at loggerheads with the government over plans to build a new power plant. So environmentalists are at loggerheads with the government over plans to build a new power plant. So they're at loggerheads, they strongly disagree. Do you share my fascination and enthusiasm for fossil words? Maybe not, but they're very useful. Those 10 fossil words are very useful. So I encourage you to think up your own examples and share them in the comments. And always try to make that emotional connection, which I repeat a lot. Okay, I look forward to seeing you in another video very soon.